looking.
All right, I think we're good. Looks good. Sorry about that, guys.
So what do you think? Do you turn this down now?
Yes, so we can
Much
see your
better.
chats. The for some reason our internet is giving us a hard time tonight, and the stream is really slow. But we're gonna attempt this together. Me and my wife chat tonight.
For the first time ever.
So this should be fun.
And you'll probably realize why we don't do this more often.
It'll be a little bit crazy. We're gonna do a Q&A tonight, and we're gonna have your questions here on our phones. So tag at homesteading so that question jumps out. And we're just gonna have a real informal chat tonight, do some answering of some questions, and we got my my son at the helm here is running the cameras, trying to give me some kind of message.
What is it?
What?
Use words. Oh, you're.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. It's not dying.
So he said it's stopped. Thank you for saying we have cute kids.
Remember to change cameras. Okay.
Somebody wants us to have more kids.
Who? I'm gonna kick them off of this
stream. Do we
stream.
just listen to everything our audience says and do it?
It's on camera mode.
Okay.
Excuse me.
It's on camera mode. One more. What are you talking about? Okay, and then you just go back and forth. Huh? Yeah. You do this. Okay, I think we're really good. So fire off some questions, guys, to give us something to talk about. Otherwise, this is going to be a short live stream where we messed around for 5 minutes, nothing worked, and then we hung up. But just to give you a quick heads up, we're doing a fun video tomorrow that is focused on our cow mini jersey that we have, the whole operation we got going back here with our cows. We're part of they're calling it a cow-laboration. The Texas boys put this together, and there's 4 total YouTube channels that are sharing their whole cow experience with you guys. So be sure to check out the Texas Boys channel, the Big Family Homestead, and Kip Smith are all part of the cow-laboration.
We're doing this because we all have a family milk cow, right?
Right.
Is it everyone's first year?
I don't think so. No, there's some people who've had cows for longer. This is our first year doing this. Some have had cows before, got rid of their cows, have cows again. So you'll get a good cross-section of, you know, what different people do in different climates and with different tools and setups.
So Brian Kerwick asked, whose idea was it to go homesteading?
Ooh, that's a good question, Brian.
He wants the origin story.
Yeah. You?
Was it me?
I think it was you.
It was my idea.
So
I wanted chickens.
yeah, that's how it all started.
And I guess we don't do anything small.
I wanted to be able to hunt on a property when we started looking for land. Kay wanted chickens. I wanted to be able to hunt. Where we were living at the time was in an apartment, and so we could do neither of those things where we were living. We didn't have enough land at the apartment property for chickens, and I definitely couldn't hunt.
Then we watched Food Inc. We were pregnant with our second, and
Second? Yeah, our second.
because we had our son
Right.
in a small apartment, 3rd-story apartment. We had a little garden, but we didn't have anything else. Austin started hunting, and then we were pregnant with our second, started house shopping, and we were looking for some land. Food Inc. kind of gave us that push. It's a documentary. It's slanted. It's biased, but it did give us the push we needed to kind of look at how we were sourcing our food and to want to do it ourselves.
We found this place after about 6 months of looking, and when we finally moved in here, Kay really wanted chickens. I didn't have any desire to be involved in farming or chickens or anything. I just wanted to go hunting. And that's kind of, and when it comes down to it, that's my favorite part of all this, is having the land for hunting. But when we got, the first chickens we got were 6 Rhode Island Reds. We bought them from a local farm.
And a couple were Aracanas, right? 'Cause
Right.
They got pecked on.
Right. So we got 4 Rhode Island Reds and 2 Aracanas. And they were past point of lay. Not, or past like their peak point of lay, the older Rhode Island Reds.
Yeah, the Aracanas were just
They were
point of lay.
prime. And those 6, we got a coop and those 6 chickens, and that kind of grew.
Sarah understands. Sarah Sweigel says it starts with the wife. Same in this house. I think it starts like that a lot.
The husband's like, well, you can do that, but I don't really want to do. And then next thing you know, I'm like, I think we should get 100 chickens this year.
Speaking of, good segue.
Nice.
Your best meat birds to grow. Our Pastured Farm asks, taste and price, best hatchery for quality. And this can go with Deborah Corbin's, because she asked, which chickens did you decide on for this spring?
Okay, so our Pastured Farm and Deborah Corbin wants to know. We have had a very hard time planning this upcoming spring because of the current occupancy here with the cow. We were having a hard time figuring out where we were going to put everything.
Because last year we were brooding chicks in the barn where the cow is now. Now that's hay storage. When we first moved in, we were brooding chicks in the basement, which is dirty and dusty and stinky. And now we have a cat in the house. Then we moved them out to the chicken coop. But now we're full of chickens and ducks. Then we put them in the cow barn to brood last year, which worked great. Now we don't have space in the cow barn
The
this year.
cow barn was awesome. Being able to raise chickens in a barn, on concrete, lights hanging from the ceiling, that was really nice. We've decided we are going to do chickens this year, but we're going to do way less than we normally do. Last year, what did we do? 70 chickens?
Yeah.
We did 70 chickens last year. This year we're going to only do, as far as meat birds go, maybe at most 15. And the reason why is we do have some extras down in the freezer from our big year last year. And we want to do a much smaller batch. We should give like a prize away every time the baby joins us. We'd go broke. Every time, what was I saying?
Every time we
Chickens. Oh, right. So we're going to do 15. And the reason why is because we want to do very small batch of chickens. We want to do 5 Cornish cross. He or me?
I'll go grab one.
Okay. So we're going to do 5 Cornish cross. We're going to do 5 Red Rangers, and we may, or some kind of ranger, and we may do also 5 of like a just straight up heritage breed large bird. And the reason why is we found in the past years when you have a lot of chickens and they're burning through feed, it's hard to keep really good track of which chickens are eating what and monitoring them as far as foraging goes. This year we want to make a really good series that compares the Cornish cross, the Rangers, and heritage breed chickens. We want to be able to tell you they go through exactly this much per bird. These ones forage better than these ones. You can tell by the rate of how much they're consuming. To do that series well, we need to have much less chickens than we normally do, and it just so happens we have a lot in the freezer. So, which are our favorite meat birds?
I have never had an issue with the Cornish, and this year, the same thing with the Red Rangers, the Rainbow Rangers. They were great. I like both of them. So this year it'll be interesting to see as far as feed consumption.
We never do heritage breed chickens for meat unless it's an egg layer that's getting old or a rooster that was hatched that we want to get rid of. We are not fans of going the egg layer route, especially because we try to sell some of our meat, and customers don't want to see the little scraggly chicken. They want to see a nice big fat chicken. We have been very impressed last year by those Rangers.
Yeah.
I went into the season a little skeptical. That's the word. A little skeptical, and they were very impressive. Nice big carcass. It was almost hard to tell them apart from the Cornish crosses. So looks-wise, meat quality, a little bit of flavor, extra flavor.
And best hatchery, somebody asked.
Best hatcheries. Last year we went local.
Yeah, relatively local. My shoe.
Last year we got from a local kind of distributor, who in our area it's Burr Farm.
Yes.
Burr Farm is the name of them. Over the past years we have done Murray McMurray, we have done Mount Healthy, we have done Meyer.
We had an issue last year with shipping. One of the hatcheries shipped in the middle of a snowstorm, and all the birds sat in the truck or the post office for 3 days and were here dead. So we're really trying to get closer distribution of chicks so we don't have to deal with the shipping like that again.
Yeah, we don't want to do cross country. So I would suggest, focus on something local.
If you can find somebody close.
Yeah, as opposed to there being one favorite.
All right.
Got a lot of questions here. This is good.
How about what size pasture do you have for your cow? What's the minimum for one cow?
You would know that answer better than me.
So the size of pasture I think we have now is 2 to 3 acres that we've cleared so far.
Yeah, we have about 2.5 hillside acres.
For her size, she's a mid-sized mini. That should be okay for her. Now that we've got the calf, once she's grown, it'll be kind of tight for 2 cows. So I'd say if you have 1 cow, nice pasture, they say 2 acres. It depends on your pasture, though. It really does depend on you know, what kind of growth you have and what kind of forage you have.
We have really low quality pasture right now that we're working on. Part of why we have a cow is to improve the pasture. So speaking of land, we have a good question from Out of Goshen. At Homesteading, we are heading out in an RV looking for a homestead. Not sure if you've seen our channel. We have not yet, guys, but we'll check it out after the live stream. And whoever's here tonight, check out Out of Goshen. What is your best piece of advice to look for land?
First of all, I'm jealous that you're doing the RV, because that's what we wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then the little one here was not such a fan of the car seat, so we kind of ditched that idea.
Someday we're going to do an RV trip cross country, and when we do, we'll come visit you guys in your new homestead. But what piece of advice as far as looking for land? Out of Goshen, I don't know if you have kids in a family or if it's just a couple. I don't know who you guys are. It was very important for us to move to a property that had a house that could be livable. There's so much to do in the beginning. I don't suggest...
We're not pure living for life over here.
We like to play homesteading. Oh! We needed a place to move into. We have children. They needed rooms. We needed to be able to cook and clean and close the door at night. If you guys have the RV and maybe you're thinking of finding the property and living out of the RV and then building, then the biggest bit of advice I would give is make sure, if you're not going the off-grid route, because if you're going off-grid you can do a little bit more creative stuff, but just make sure the property you are going for, to check zoning laws, check with health departments, make sure you're not buying 5 nice acres only to find out that area doesn't allow you to have pigs unless you have 10 acres. Here where we live, just a town or two over, you could own 2 acres and not be allowed to have chickens. So make sure to check your local regulations, zoning, all that. If you're out west, you might have to check for water rights and that sort of thing. And then look for a property that's not too wet, not near too many wetlands. You know, preferably having... I'm not a big fan of the whole off-grid thing. You can be off-grid, but at least have the option. That's just a personal thing. And
John asked, what's the best way to look for land? When we were looking at properties, we were looking on Zillow. Or there's like land for sale, the farm for sale websites, we were looking on those. I did see a couple on Craigslist as well, so.
Is our video down there?
I don't know, it's been doing that.
What happened to our video?
Nobody said anything.
No? Oh, good, okay. Not you, place. That's rude.
And if you know the area you want to move to, if you contact a realtor there, if you want to work with a realtor, would be helpful too.
Yeah, we found this place ourselves. Our realtor, when we found this place, wasn't a real... We found this place. And he got us in, and we knew right away this is what we wanted. So it was like, it didn't take us long to find this. But it did take us long to find this spot. So it might be a bit of a search. If you're doing the RV thing, you can go a little bit further. If you're not tethered to a certain area, that definitely helps.
Dad, Isaac, go gardening. What editing software do you use for podcasts?
Ooh, good question. Okay, editing software for podcasts. I started with GarageBand. GarageBand comes on a Mac. It's free, and it's, as far as easy to hard goes, GarageBand is kind of in the middle, and it comes with lots of samples. It comes with music that you can use. You have the rights to use. So if you get a Mac and you have GarageBand, it's a good place to start. If you don't, some people go the route of Audacity. It's free and it's online. I don't use it, but if you don't have the GarageBand option, that's a good one. Now I use Adobe Creative Cloud for all my editing, and for audio I use Adobe Audition.
What type of cameras do you use, the Texas boys ask?
Texas boys want to know about cameras. We got the same kind of camera as the Texas boys. I saw you using that 80D the other day. So we have an 80D like you guys. This camera over here that I'm pointing at is the 80D. And then they're both Canons. So we got a Canon 80D and then a Canon 6D. The 80D, for you out there looking to start a vlog, is the go-to camera. It used to be the 70D. I like that camera better. 70D is much better than the 80, but they don't really sell it anymore. So the 80D has an awesome autofocus. You can use different lenses with it. And it's really good for filming yourself. You throw that on a Joby tripod, the really high strength Joby that's built for a DSLR, and then you put the Rode shotgun mic on the top. You got a perfect vlogging camera, good for anything.
If the Joby holds out.
Our Joby has gone a little soft. Then for really pretty shots, when you see the really pretty footage on our videos, that's coming from the Canon 6D, and I got a nice Tamron lens on the front of that.
A lot of people have asked about predators. Best layout for chicken coops. Do we have issues with predators? Yes, we do. We've had hawk issues during the day. We've had foxes come in and snatch chickens in the middle, and chickens and ducks in the middle of the day. We haven't had an issue with the foxes since the dog's been more outside. Another issue we have is at night about raccoons and possums.
Whoa.
What?
Out of Goshen, the RVers have 6 kids.
And tell them it's not that hard, right? 4 to 6 is like
They're
nothing.
going RVing cross country with 6 kids. That's impressive, guys. So yeah, that whole have a house thing, I'd be looking for a house thing. David wants to know, do we do tours? David, we don't do like open tours all the time. What we do every year is we plan an open farm day, and we announce that to anybody on our email list. Great point to tell you about the email list. Guys, YouTube does not share all our videos with you. Even if you're a subscriber to the channel, even if you hit that bell for notifications, YouTube's algorithm decides what
Sound check.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Are we back on?
Yeah.
Sounds on?
Yes. Yes.
You need subtitles, yeah. Or sign language.
sound. Okay.
Well, Jake, you only get one question, and it was answered, even though you couldn't hear us, so sorry.
Good.
Just kidding. Are we getting pigs this year? Yes, we're getting pigs this year. Sound issues. Thanks. Thank you, Lauren Mackey. We got friends watching out for us. Yeah, we're going to get pigs this year. Probably less than we've had, because we'd like to do some closer monitoring of feed consumption. Right?
Yep.
That's the idea. And we were asked, who was that? Jake was asking.
Right, you want to know about, are they typically mean or nice?
Or is
Does
it how
pet?
they're raised as piglets?
That was Jake?
Jake, yeah.
Okay, Jake, so we should tell him about Pig You're It.
Piggy, you're it.
Piggy You're It.
That's what we made.
Yeah.
Last year, our kids, we had 4 pigs, 6 pigs.
6 pigs.
6 pigs, and our kids, when they were small,
The piglets.
feeders, yeah, the piglets. Our 2 oldest kids would climb the fence into the pig pen when they were small. This isn't big giant pigs, guys. Don't think we're bad parents. And they'd run to the pigs, and at this point the pigs had already learned to come when there was food. So they'd jump in there with the bucket, and the pigs would start running, and they would tag one of the pigs and say, "Pig, you're it!" And then they'd run away from the pig.
The pigs, when they're little, are very curious. We've never had mean pigs, ever.
Yeah. The black ones we had were mean.
They were older.
Yeah.
So we get them at about 8 weeks old. They're very curious. I wouldn't let them out in your yard to play with your kids. First, they'll ruin your yard.
Yeah.
Another thing, they chew. They want to test out everything with their teeth, and their teeth are sharp.
Yeah.
So they'll grab onto the kids' pant legs or boots, but they're not mean.
Now, they become incredibly strong.
Very quickly.
And pigurate had to end. Because as those pigs grow, they could just trample your kids and, you know, they wouldn't like attack our kids, but they could seriously hurt kids. So pigurate had to end, and eventually, yeah, you don't want your kids, if you have young kids, you don't want them in with the pigs. You don't want them climbing in for sure. So it's the kind of thing where
What's the matter?
they're not necessarily mean, but they are very powerful. And by the time they're full size and ready to go to the butcher, they're very powerful. Like, they can hurt you.
Always something.
All right. Baby's sad, which means another...
So somebody was asking about A1, A2, A2, A2.
All right, let's talk about A1 and A2 genetics. My phone is a little bit slow, so I want to see if I can catch up here. So someone's asking about A1 and A2 genetics with our cow. Maybe you saw last week we mentioned this. We actually...
Kristen Gibson.
Kristen Gibson wants to know about A1 and A2. What does she actually want to know?
Are your jerseys A2, A2 genetics? What's your thought on the great A1, A2 genetics debate?
All right, great question. So, yes, we have an A2, A2 jersey. She comes from a line going all the back to the island of Jersey, where the Jersey cow came from. I gotta make sure I'm right here.
Yeah.
So, we have A2, A2 genetic cow. Why did we choose an A2, A2 genetic? We actually talked about this a little in last week's live stream, so I'll just go over it quickly again. Some people believe there are health benefits to... That camera just went off. A2, A2. And those people think that is it A1, A2? The other kind, A1, A2 genetics, are bad for us. That's what some people believe. We bought the cow that was A2, A2 because, A, if there really is a health issue there, why not pick the one with the better genetics? But, secondly, and more so why we chose it was, well, if we're the only people around with an A2, A2 heifer and a cow that's giving A2, A2 milk, that means our heifer is worth more money because it's rarer and more special. And same with our milk. If someone around here is looking to buy A2, A2 milk, we're the only ones with it. And if we decide to do a herd share program, well, it'd be easier to sell that. There's a farm up the street who has jerseys, who does a nice milk operation, but they're a larger scale operation, and they couldn't advertise A2, A2, so we would have a good niche there.
All right. Rewild Farm.
Rewild.
A solar or plug-in energizer for your netting, pasture, fencing.
Rewild Farm wants to know if we do the solar energizers or if we use plugins. Answer to that, Rewild, is we use both.
Yeah.
Both of them, right?
Both.
So we have a solar charger, which currently is being used to keep cats out of a playground from turning it into a kitty litter box. We have in years past moved that solar charger around with sheep and with goats around different areas of the property. We have a very tree-filled property, so getting good solar all day was tough. We don't have big open fields. If you have some big open fields and you can stick that solar charger out there with the netting and you don't have too much grounding going on with grass touching your netting, you can get a plenty good charge off that solar charger. Where we are, it was always hard to get really good sun, so we wound up putting in a plug-in charger at our cow barn, and that thing runs the entire perimeter now. And we have phased out of using netting mostly we just used the netting for pastured meat chickens.
Speaking of pastured, our pastured farm says, I know you had a tough time with turkeys. I love the butchering video.
Oh, glad you like the butchering video.
The best video I feel on turkeys butchering. Thank you.
Thanks.
Are you planning on turkeys again?
Oh, man.
We weren't.
We weren't.
We butchered that turkey. Like, we're never doing turkeys again.
But then Daddy tasted it.
But then we tasted that turkey. Does he always talk?
He's a little excited tonight.
Yeah. But then we tasted that turkey, and it was the best turkey we've ever had.
It was, I can go on record and say, like, our pastured chicken, it just tastes like yummy chicken. It's okay. It's not,
you can't tell a big difference.
yeah, honestly, I love KFC, so I'm going to get some hate for that. That turkey was way better than any turkey I've ever had. It had a layer of fat on it like this, and when we cut the breast, it looked like a pork chop, like one of our pork chops, which have a layer of fat on them. So it was delicious. It was moist. It fed. We had a party, and it fed all our friends. Only half the bird. We actually sent the other half home with people. So now I don't know that we'll do turkeys this year. But long term, I'm going to try to get it so that we have the right infrastructure for every year doing some turkeys, because it was so good.
Homegrown love, I want to do pigs this year. How much do you pay for them?
We pay...
I think Brad asked about Kuni pigs.
Ooh.
Kuni.
Kuni. Find out what Brad asked about Kuni. We'll talk about what we pay. So we pay $95 for feeders in our area. Some people watching this video out in different parts of the world
shocked by that.
are going to think we're getting ripped off. You're going to say either that I'm getting ripped off or that I'm a moron, or maybe both.
Welcome to YouTube.
In Connecticut, everything is more expensive. The cost of land is more expensive. Feed is more expensive. Shots are more expensive. Everything's more expensive. So the guy I buy my feeders from has to sell them for $95 to make money. Out in the middle of America, where you're in the corn belt, and corn is half the price of what our feed is, you can get feeders much cheaper. What do you want to know about Kunis?
Brad, you'll have to ask us again. He just said Kuni pigs. I don't know, maybe he's giving a shout out to the Kuni.
Somebody asked about merch.
They like your shirt, and do you have any merch?
They like my shirt. This is my merch.
That is silly.
Homesteading merch. If you go to our website, this is homesteading.com. Click in the menu bar shop, and then click clothing. You'll find all our merch, and we have a new shirt coming out with our next podcast, which is, or a couple podcasts from now, which I really love. So stay tuned for that.
I'm going back and looking. Somebody asked about what feed we use for the cow.
What fee we feed?
Yeah, it's a 16%.
Life Goes North says I need that shirt in my life. Life Goes North. It's a great shirt. This is a really good quality one too. The guy version is a really nice shirt.
What about the kid version? Are there any kid versions?
How are our Troy wants to know how the fish are doing. Troy, the fish are doing pretty good. We still have some of the minnows have survived to this point. We're only losing minnows, which, as we talked about in our previous videos, the bait shop who sold us the minnows said they were going to die. He said maybe because these ones are young, you'll have some live, but most likely they're all going to die because their digestive systems shut down. At this point, we've only lost about a third of them. And as far as the goldfish goes, the goldfish are sitting pretty. And for everyone watching who don't know why we're talking about fish, it's for our aquaponics system, which we've just set up here. We're experimenting with aquaponics here, and we had some ups and downs with the fish.
Just making sure we answer everybody's questions.
That was John who asked about merch. Yep, okay.
You can tell we use a 16% dairy feed.
Somebody wanted to know about our cow feed. We use a 16% dairy feed, and it's a very, very fine feed.
Yeah.
Dairy feed is supposed to be like powder, because the rumen is not made for big grain kernels. The rumen, if it's going to absorb it correctly, it needs to be a fine, fine powder. And so if your dairy feed is not a fine, fine powder, find a new one.
Homegrown Love is in Rhode Island.
And that's not me talking, that's my feed guy. I interviewed him 2 weeks ago about feeds, and he went in depth about all kinds of feeds, and he said with dairy it needs to be super fine.
Super fine. I like my dairy mix like I like my men. Super fine.
Oh.
Super fun. We's dumping out brine.
Right.
Homegrown Love is in Rhode Island. We love Rhode Island.
We love Rhode Island. We go every year to like Warwick area. Matunic. You ever been to Matunic?
Oh,
You're from Rhode Island. I'm sure you've been to Matunic. It's like this big. We love Rhode Island. That's our summer vacation spot.
Texas boys, how many acres do we have? Don't be impressed. 10.
10 acres here. But really, I mean, we're only really homesteading off of 2.5. I always tell people you need less land than you think. Texas boys probably know because they're doing a ton at their place. But yeah, you don't need a lot of acreage. We have 10. 8 of it is just for hunting, and then we're slowly growing into more of it.
Kristen wants to know, do you find your viewers like it more when your wife is involved in the episodes?
Kristen sure does.
I have to admit, I watch every show now that your wife is active in the channel. It's better with you both.
Yeah. I got to drag her into it, but
Is there any more Super Jam?
naturally,
You need more.
so naturally, personality-wise, I'm the showman of the family. I like putting on a show. It's what I've always done. My wife likes being involved in a show. She likes to orchestrate a show. But she's not as much the one who wants to be on the camera all the time. But over time I've pulled her in because she is very good on camera. She's very knowledgeable. She's well-spoken. And you guys love when she's in the videos. We get a lot of good comments on the videos that she's in. So more and more Kay, especially as I've transitioned to doing homesteading full-time, she's realized that right now the most exciting thing going on in this homestead
Is the cow?
is the cow. And so if she weren't in those videos, I would be misrepresenting our dairy operation completely. And so she's like, all right, I'll get in the videos with you. And she's been a really good sport about it. And she's doing, that's why, yeah, she's doing more now. And we're trying to get some more, trying to do some more cooking videos. I have a video of her making cream cheese that I filmed like 2 weeks ago.
You have a video of me making crepes, right?
Mhm. And
This one.
so yes, people like
There
it
is
better.
a reason I'm not on so much, as you can tell.
Yeah, this is our first live stream together because for a while this would have been completely impossible with this guy. Now it's only like half impossible.
Your shirt cold? You want to take your shirt off? It got wet.
We're going to take a few more questions, guys, and then we're going to shut it down. We know we've lost some time tonight to problems with the technology. And
Sarah's a homesteading pioneer. Thank you, Sarah.
thank you, Sarah.
What's the matter?
For those of you who don't know what a homesteading pioneer is we have a membership program. If you love our show, you can go over to thisishomesteady.com, become a pioneer, and with that you get access to bonus content. We have classes. Some of them I teach, but a lot of them other people teach. We have a really good class on food preservation, taught by my good friend Trish from Honey Pies Recipes. She is a culinary instructor. She does an hour-long class on food preservation, which is fantastic. So if you want to become a pioneer, it's $5 a month. I think we have a card that you can click on here and to become a pioneer. It helps us do this full-time, and in return you get a whole lot of bonuses if you love homesteading. So thank you, Sarah, for being a pioneer. We really couldn't do this full-time without you guys. YouTube don't pay that well.
Barefoot Backyard wants to know how our trees in orchard are doing. They were good in the fall. When did we put it in the summer?
We put it in the spring.
In the spring. By fall, we had strawberries. We had raspberries
Yeah,
growing.
that was awesome.
Yeah.
We actually got to harvest this year out of the orchard. The kids loved the strawberries.
Yeah, some days we would come out with like an egg basket, like the top would be full of piles of strawberries.
They would go and they'd pick eggs, and then they'd pick strawberries and come in with the fresh
We're not
pick from the
picking
day.
eggs. We're not gonna pick them from a leaf. You gotta harvest
Harvesting
eggs.
eggs.
And Rory wants to know how we're going to plan on expanding the farm. Rory Palmer.
How are we going to plan on expanding the farm?
How do you plan?
We are a bit... Rory Palmer? Rory, we're a bit maxed out here. That was one of the hard things we kept going back and forth on when we were planning for this year, was at this point we were pretty maxed out. And without building another building or doing another huge land clearing operation, we can't grow too much more. The cow takes up a lot of room and a lot of pasture. The other buildings are kind of at their peak. We can't grow a whole lot more here. So this year, that's why we're going to kind of actually shrink a bit as far as numbers go, but then double down on really good content and really focusing on learning from what we're doing so that we can share with you guys more accurate details in our videos.
It's a lot of reassessing going on this year on the farm.
Yeah, we'd like to grow, but we're kind of at our max here, so.
Foreboding.
I think.
Daddy, yeah.
Is that all? Did we cover all the
Troy
questions?
asked, is there an outdoor system you could do with fish?
Troy, I'm not sure if you're asking if you can do aquaponics outside. Oh, yeah. But you can, if that's what you're asking. We got this little naked baby over here. He was dressed at the beginning of this live stream, guys. This is what happens when
That's what happens when you don't get any
do
super
it together.
chats.
Yeah. You can do outdoor aquaponics. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny, bud. We just chose to do it indoors because then we can do it year round.
Yeah, it would freeze here.
Yeah, here it would freeze. Hi. Hi. Some people do them in greenhouses so they don't freeze. I think that's pretty much all the questions tonight.
Deborah's excited to see what the spring is like. Me too.
Yes, we're
ready
excited for spring. So thanks for joining us for our first couples
live chat, I guess.
Couples live chat. This was really fun. It was fun having you. And we are, we're not at the point yet where we can do this every week because it's a little bit crazy. But we will definitely do this again with you guys because we know how much you love when Kay joins me in the videos. Thanks for watching, and, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Oh, join the email list, guys. One more time, call out for that email list. I let every one of our videos I send to our email list at the end of the week, so you get all our videos, even if YouTube doesn't send them to you. And when we do live chats, most of the time I send out an email to the list to warn them.
Deborah wants to know how far are we from a major city. We're about an hour away from New York City.
Yeah.
Which is, we never go to New York City.
No.
So, we just pay to live close without actually ever going there.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys. Well, tomorrow, we're not normally doing Saturday videos, but we have a great video coming out tomorrow. So be sure to check into the channel tomorrow for a really nice in-depth look at the whole milking operation, mini jerseys, A2 milk. Stay tuned for that really good video. It's mostly Kay, so you'll really enjoy it. And we'll see you in the next video.
One more thing. I hate not answering people's questions. Terry, talk your husband into turkeys. Tell him it'll be the best turkey he ever had.
What, Terry?
Terry wants to talk her husband into a turkey.
Do it. Here's another question.
Pick up your homestead to another part of the country. Where would you go? Where would we go? Final question.
We were looking, Courtney, when we were actually looking to do that. We were last year we were looking to move, and the places we were looking at were Virginia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, anywhere a little bit more south, kind of middle of the country, but not too far south, like, Florida, or even we were looking at Kentucky or Tennessee, but those were too hot for us. So more like Virginia. Virginia was kind of our sweet spot.
Yeah. Maybe someday, huh?
Okay, I think we beat the questions. We better stop there. We'll see you guys in our next video.